where would you like to start in college football? You've mentioned Bill Belichick. You mentioned Matt Rule. We've talked a little bit about Oregon. Would you like me to go Oregon first?
I think you need a minute. Let's ease into Oregon.
I could do Oregon first. Doesn't
You're
matter.
okay? You feel okay talking about this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Hello, welcome to Geoff Schwartz this morning. Geoff Schwartz this morning has been DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. I am Geoff Schwartz alongside Gabe Goodwin. We're here to recap all the National Football League action. We'll touch on some college football here to end the show. Gabe is smiling very profusely because his USC Trojans beat Michigan and my Oregon Ducks lost. That's the only reason why he's smiling. He has waited 4 years for this moment, I think, for USC to win a big game and Oregon to lose a game. First regular season loss in 2 years. But here we are, Gabe. I know you've been waiting for days to have this conversation. We will do it mostly at the end of the show.
Listen, Cam Rising went to Utah for 75 years. Never got the big win against him, but finally got the big win. It came against Michigan. I was at the Coliseum. It felt great. And you know why, Jeff? Because it was really never close. It was one of those games that good teams win the right way. Even with 2 turnovers in the red zone, twice we marched all the way down the field and then coughed up the ball. We still won very comfortably. Defense was great. Offensive line was great. It was the opposite for you.
Well, no. Quickly though, what about the $5,000 fine you guys got for lying on the injury report? I don't know. Oregon wouldn't do that. You see this?
100-something guys on the roster. It's very hard to keep track of them all, Jeff.
Look, I'm in favor of injury reports for college football. They sort of have them, but USC listed a guy as out essentially, and then they lost 2 running backs, and they're like, no, actually he can play. That seems like a $5,000 fine for that seems kind of silly, but it is what it is, and USC can afford that fine, I think.
We're fine. I would have chipped in to pay for it. Our walk-on running back was a stud. That was
2
the
of
best.
them.
Yeah, the best.
Two walk-ons, yeah.
Yeah, well, best run performance I've seen under Lincoln Riley as well. But that was Saturday. Fast forward, we had a great game on Monday night, which obviously lends itself to another 2024 quarterback class redraft. I think you're going to probably duck it and not want to talk about Caleb being better than Jayden. So we can hit that game or we can just get right to your Chiefs. It's your call.
Gabe, I don't think you're going to like this.
Oh, really?
Where this is going to go.
Okay.
Was the best quarterback of that class Drake Maye?
Oh, come on, dude. What are you doing? I deserve that. That's a zig when I zagged, but come on.
Here goes here. According to Pat Thorman, but I mean, he's just passing along numbers here. Drake Maye among second-year quarterbacks. Now, again, this is taking into consideration that Caleb Williams has only played 5 games, right? They had a bye, Pedro not had a bye yet, and taking into consideration that Jayden Daniels has missed some time. But here is what Drake Maye is first among second-year quarterbacks in completion percentage. TD passes, TD runs. Yards per pass, yards per game, explosive passes, passer rating, EPA, and success rate. So he's number 1 in everything as of right now. That's just worth bringing up. I know it pisses you off as a Patriots hater, but he is playing good football, man. They even took away a long completion, 50-yard completion with a weird offensive pass interference to Stephon Diggs in that game. Drake Maye is entering the discussion now of best quarterback of that class. I think it's very clear. 3 at the top there with May, Williams, and Daniels. Daniels, that fumble last night, just you can't have that. I mean, we're not going to knock him for his overall skills, but you can't lose a game by just dropping an exchange like he did. I don't even know how that's possible. I don't think it was raining. It might have been a little bit wet at that point, but still can't have those mistakes. But Drake, look, they haven't played the same competition. That's all fair. Again, this all matters. But nonetheless, Drake Maye has played really good football, and I thought the Patriots were going to stink. So I'm admitting that they're where they are. You got to give credit to that staff and Drake Maye.
Okay, so Caleb goes home to DC, beats Jayden in a thriller, and your takeaway is Drake Maye in New England at 4-2 is maybe arguably better than both of them. That's really how you saw that. You don't have anything for me on Caleb Williams.
He played well, but again, see, this is why the final score sometimes is a little misleading, right? Because if Washington just doesn't fumble the handoff, then we don't talk, I think, about Caleb Williams in the same way, right? I mean, that last drive, DeAndre Swift had a ton of the carries, right? Like he got him into field goal range. Caleb Williams was good, but again, we're talking about the final result, a win is not really indicative of which quarterback played better, right? I mean, the Commanders should not fumble that ball. The game, right? You wouldn't say that if they won 20, if they lost 24-22, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. As someone who had Commanders money line,
Well, let me try to cheer you up then. I don't know why I'm cheering you up. You've been kind of a jerk so far, but here's some cheery news for you. Of the 5 preseason Super Bowl favorites, as listed by our favorite book, 4 of them lost this weekend. The guys who I thought were all obviously good teams, a little past a quarter of the way into the season, I'm not so sure. Except for the one team that won this week, that won decisively, that won a game that they had to win, and suddenly look all the way back. Your Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes looked like Patrick Mahomes. The defense stopped the Lions, who nobody could stop. The Chiefs look good. You should feel happy. Be happy, Geoff.
and Rashee Rice comes back this week, so the offense is going to look better. The AFC is wild right now. Ready? This is the AFC standings. Okay, the East, the Patriots are winning the East right now. The Steelers are winning the North. Then we have the Colts are 5-1, and the Chargers have a tiebreaker with the Broncos, but the Chargers were very close to blowing that game. The Chiefs would have had, they would have been really tight at the top there. So it's an interesting season so far. Kansas City is where they're supposed to be. We do this every year. We have this panic, like, oh my God, and they're playing terribly. And look, their pass rush isn't great, but they rush the passer well against the Lions, right? Chris Jones talked about it last week, right? That effort in that final play got kind of called out about it, and then played much better against the Lions. They blitzed, they pressured. Early in that game, look, they would never get a stop. They got a bunch of stops, and offensively, dude, you know how easy it is to dismiss like what Jalen Moore did, their backup left tackle. So they missed their left tackle. Josh Emmons out for a personal reason. And they bring in Moore, who they did sign to $50 million a year contract this offseason. Goes in at left tackle, man, just plays fantastic. Fantastic. And the offense, Mahomes looks comfortable. The creativity's back in the offense. When you move Kelsey from the first option to the third option, the offense flows a lot better. Now you had Rashee Rice back in there. Juju Smith-Schuster does a good job in his exact defined role. They need to run the ball better continually. I do wonder if a running back trade is possible as we get near the deadline. But the Chiefs look good, man. Right now, look, if you're going to put money on a team to win the AFC right now, the Bills lost, sure, whatever. But I still think the Chiefs and Bills are those two teams. But at 3-3, the Chiefs are not even in the playoffs right now, Gabe. But they would be the team I think everyone feels comfortable with picking to win the Super Bowl.
I have made a rule since I've known you. I don't bet against the Chiefs. Is it possible? Just this is where a dumb guy take it needs correction. Is it possible that Juju laying that hit on Branch and then the fight and the blood and all that comes out of that somehow that like helps the guys in the locker room bond or some dumb crap like that? Yeah. People say that kind of thing.
Probably, but the Chiefs locker room is pretty close.
Okay,
like we know that, right?
But that could be Juju's biggest contribution this year is like that.
Well, but Brian Branch is suspended for a game he's not playing in. I mean, so like they're not playing against him, right? But firing the locker room up certainly. Look, the Branch hit was illegal. Juju shouldn't have hit him in the back. It was an illegal hit, but that doesn't mean you go up to him and punch him in the face after the game. Like that's like we know things happen in the 60 minutes of football. And then when the game's over, that's over. It should be done. Now you can still cuss at someone, yell at them, fine. But to go punch them in the face in front of everyone, you're gonna get suspended for that. National television, standalone game, right in the face after a Chiefs win. And yeah, Juju Smith. No, was it dirty? I don't know if that counts as dirty. There's hits like that all the time that happen over an NFL game. I just thought Brian Branch's explanation, like he got bullied. That's probably the wrong terminology to use. You got bullied because Juju Smith hit you in the back one time. I just thought that was a moment of weakness from the Lions. And Campbell said, hey, we don't tolerate that, which is absolutely true. Now they have another player in their secondary, their beat up secondary, Gabe, who's not going to play this week.
Yeah. That's something to look at when the numbers come out, when you and Matt are picking your games.
Oh, geez. I'd pick against us at the moment.
Okay. Well, you touched on them. Let's stay in the AFC. So we're saying that the Chiefs are now where the Chiefs always are. Minor blip. They're going to be a winning team. They're going to get their way into the playoffs. Nobody's going to want to piece them. How about the Bills? It feels like the opposite trajectory. I was absolutely convinced they were legit and Josh Allen was finally there. The Falcons might be better than people thought, but they're not great. And so they lose to the Falcons 24-14. 2 in a row they dump. What's happening?
It's a good question. So the defense is so beat up right now. When Milano doesn't play, they're just not as good. Like we know this about Buffalo. Then they lost Bernard yesterday, I want to say, right? Bernard was out. They lost another guy on another linebacker. I think it was Bernard, who went out. Like they just have some injuries on the defense, and it's really hampering their ability to stop the run. As my dog lets everyone know about it. Yeah, Milano's out. Jones is out as well. Ed Oliver did come back, and they lost. Bernard. They lost Bernard, I think it was yesterday. So, like, they just don't have a great run defense. And that being said, they only give up 24 points, right? That included 81-yard touchdown run by Bijan. Like, that, unfortunately, it happens in the NFL. The question is obviously the offense. Like, what happened to the offense? They have not played well for 2 straight weeks. And I don't know how to put this. Like, you're going to have moments in the season when it doesn't go well, Gabe, right? And the question is it permanent or is it fixable, right? They didn't protect Josh Allen terribly well. That feels very fixable, right? That's a really good offensive line. They had a bad game on the road. Josh Allen, he did some Josh Allen things that weren't great. Like that fourth down play, just throw the ball to the running back. Don't underhand scoop it. Like that was silly. Like what are we doing there? Some uncharacteristic turnovers they've had the last couple of games. If you clean those things up, Gabe, you're probably going to be fine, right? James Cook ran the ball well yesterday. So just little tweaks in a long NFL season. I don't think we're going to end up with the Bills not winning the AFC East. I don't think we're going to end up with the Bills not being back where they should be. They're very cleanable mistakes, easy to fix.
Okay, so Bills Chiefs and AFC champ game, that still feels like what we're looking at.
I think so. But the Bills have to get healthy on defense. Like Milano's got to come back. They need their guys back on defense.
Yeah, I'm still pretty annoyed with your Milano cookie take from a week or two ago.
Oh, so I was in New York, and I was at the pharmacy, and I like to sometimes keep like a little bit of sweet on in my bag if I want like a little dessert after dinner. Yeah. And I saw the bag of Milano cookies, and I thought to myself, you know what, Gabe would like if I got the Milano cookies, and I did not. But I saw the bag.
The full sack or the little twofer pack?
No, the sack.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I didn't do it though. But
you should have. But the problem with the sack is you end up eating like 8 of them.
No, see, I'm not a sweet tooth. I would just eat like one. I'm okay. I'm weird like that.
That's not true.
No, that is true. Now, give me a bag of chips. I'll eat the whole bag of chips. But for sweets, I could easily just have one cookie and be fine. The whole bag of chips that would happen. Like that's a problem I have with chips. I like potato chips too much.
I've never met a person who's just eating one cookie. I'm sorry.
Maybe 2.
Okay.
But it's definitely not more than 2. Right. I'm not that type of person with sweets. I would much rather have salt and potato. We talked about this last week about the potato thing, potato and tomatoes.
Yeah.
How many Milanos have you had this week?
I don't own any Milanos. If I had them, they would all be gone the second I opened them.
Like after a big USC win, you don't go home and have like a pack of Milanos?
No, that's not how I celebrate USC wins. I consume a different kind of carb during a USC game.
How expensive are those at the Coliseum?
Well, you know what? I'm not going to confess to anything here on the microphone. I'll tell you something offline about
when we went to the Rose Bowl as kids, my dad was like, "We're not paying for Rose Bowl food," so we would sneak food in all the time. I understand how it works.
For the record, I did not say I did that. Let's talk about Jaxson Dart, a guy who used to play at the Coliseum. He snuck into the Coliseum somehow.
Barely.
Yeah, he snuck in a few times. Didn't get on the field much. Now he looks like a star thanks to his buddy, his pal, Cam Scadaboo. These two are obviously like everyone's favorite meme. Scadaboo is winning fantasy leagues. Sure, you said it. I still believe that Brian Daboll is headed elsewhere. Maybe now Penn State. Let's start that rumor. Why not? I don't think he's going to last past the season, but these guys are making it interesting. I want to ask one serious question about it, though. So as much fun as they are, there was video and then reports of Brian Daboll apparently went into the blue tent during a Dart concussion protocol. Or
no,
okay.
I think
make me smarter here.
I think Scadaboo went in the tent, but Brian Daboll was berating Dr. Rodeo, who's the team doctor there, because he claimed he wanted him back and they were going for on the fourth down, and he wanted to know what his status was. And it's very inappropriate to do that to the team doctor, right? There's protocols in place. The doctor wants the player to play as well. They want the quarterback to be back in the game, but there's protocols they have to follow and make sure the player is healthy enough to come back in the game. And you shouldn't berate the doctor for just doing their job, especially when it's a head injury. There's independent neurologists who are in charge of it. The team doctor's not in charge at all, and you can tell how uncomfortable Scott Rodeo was getting yelled at by the head coach. And then, of course, we saw there was an apology afterwards. But again, you have to be composed. Look, it's kind of crazy because how often do we see every now and then, right? Like the head trainer or the doctor talk to the head coach. They show that to us, right? The head coach just like carries on their day. It's football. You get injuries. It's part of football. You continue on your job. For him to take his headset off and yell at the doctor, like that was inappropriate. I think, did they fine him or did they just say they're going to investigate what happened there?
The owner certainly came out and said, that's not allowed. We're not doing that.
It's not allowed. And it looks like he's out of control as a head coach. I get it was a game you wanted to win. Russell Wilson stinks. I mean, that's the name of Russell Wilson too. Think about that. They didn't want to play a play with Russell Wilson on fourth down so badly that he berated the team doctor to see if they could get an update on the quarterback who's potentially concussed coming back into the game. That's my thing with Dart, man. I think it's a lot of running, Gabe. It's a lot of contact, and you need less of that. Like I get it. It's fun. It works for the most part. But dude, he's taking a lot of hits right now, and this is multiple weeks in a row. I believe me. Like he's been evaluated for concussion. Like I get it. It's part of his game. It's cool. It's fun to run. It's exciting. But your job is to be able to play quarterback each and every snap. And you got to find a way to either take less contact when you run or run a little bit less because you're going to end up getting hurt this season. And then whatever you've done this year is for naught if you're hurt for a long period this season.
Yes, basically do the opposite of what your buddy Cam Scadaboo does, seeking contact.
Cam Scadaboo is a fun story. It has a shelf life though. He's going to get so battered and beaten the way he runs a football. He's fun to watch, man. He gives him that juice.
We all saw videos of him going back to high school. This is how he's run his whole life.
I know. He's banging his head against the wall at Arizona State. You saw that video? Just a net job. Look, those guys are so much fun to play with, right? They're so much fun. Who
was the craziest person you ever played with like that? Like a running back or a fullback? Somebody like that. I used to work with a guy named John Ritchie. Remember John Ritchie?
Yeah.
Ritchie would be a good example of that. Who's actually a brilliant dude, but he used to smash his head into stuff. He had like a calcified forehead. He used to bleed down his forehead.
Brad Hoover was our fullback in Carolina. He was kind of nuts. I think if you're an old school fullback, Gabe, you have to be nuts. Think about your job. You're running full speed at another man who's running full speed at you, knowing you're just going to hit each other in the head, and your job is to move that guy off his spot. You have to be a little bit crazy. So Brad Hoover was like a true fullback in that sense. He was a little crazy. I played some offensive linemen that are nuts too, but Brad Hoover he's a good dude. But yeah, you have to be crazy to be a fullback.
Okay, well, we're talking about guys who are taking a little too much contact when they run, which is a very easy and obvious segue to this. I'd like you to look at the Ravens' remaining schedule. So they lose again. They're down to 1-5. Here's the remaining schedule, though. Is it possible? I wanted to get into should they just bench Lamar and call it and just, play for next season, not risk the franchise. But actually, when you look at the schedule, you go, well, wait a minute. Maybe actually you get pieces back every week. And by the postseason, you might have won 10 games. Maybe you could do this still. Where are you on the give up or make a final push kind of move for the Ravens?
So right now, the Steelers have a 4.5 game lead. Is it 3.5? Because
Steelers
they have one less game,
Steelers are way up in the division, but then the Bengals and the Browns both suck. So the division's not completely out of reach.
So I think it ends up being technically like a 4.5 game lead because they played one less game, maybe 3.5, something like that. But it's a 4 game difference in the loss column, 4-1 versus 1-5. But right now in DraftKings, To win the division, AFC North, the Steelers are minus 190 and the Ravens are plus 185. You would think that would be a little bit heavier, right, Gabe, with a 4-game lead? But it's not because, as you mentioned, the Ravens schedule, they're off
Let's go
off
back
this
to
week.
that. Yeah, let's look at that again.
Yeah. So they're off this week. They get Lamar Jackson back, and I think they get Queen back as well. It's then Chicago at home, at Miami, that's dead right now, at Minnesota, we don't know what they are. Browns have no offense. Jets are just atrocious. Bengals stink. Then Pittsburgh, that game is always tough, and then the Bengals again, then your Patriots, then Packers and Steelers. There's a chance, what's this, 1, 2, 5, 11 games left for them? I mean, there's a chance they could win 9 of these 11 and get themselves right back in the division, especially because they have 2 against Pittsburgh, right? If you win the 2 against Pittsburgh,
Yes.
you're going to win the division.
Yeah, well, certainly Pittsburgh would be playing for it all if the division were on the line in Week 18. But let's not even worry about whether they can win the division. Now they can just limp in with a wild card. If Pittsburgh's got the division locked up by 3 games by Week 18, they could rest everyone and let the Ravens in, essentially, maybe get their 10th win that way. Packers, Week 17, might not be trying, and every other team you just listed is terrible.
So right now, according to DraftKings, to make the playoffs, yes, plus 115, no, minus 140. I'm not betting on that. I'm gonna stay away, but I think that there's value in it now. If you think to make the playoffs, you'd wager on that now before they come back from the bye.
Yeah, now's the time for sure. That said, a huge part of me, even knowing all of what we just discussed, is still thinking maybe we just shut our quarterback down. The hamstring thing was always confusing.
No, it's too early in the season.
Okay.
It's too early in the season. You can't do that. No,
all right.
Too early in the season.
Okay, well, thank you for making me smarter. You know what it's not too early in the season for? Firing your head coach when you just had the number 1 pick and you took a quarterback. What are we doing here? I don't want to talk about the Titans for long, but what's going on here, man?
I think that's 4 straight years. The first pick the coach got fired in the middle of the season. Right, last year was the Bears, and then Trevor Lawrence. Right, was Urban Meyer? Was that his rookie season? Urban Meyer.
Yes, he's one of the other ones that they did this way.
Yeah. They had a new general manager this offseason, obviously just stuck with Brian Callahan. But very clearly it wasn't working. Look, the final straw was quite simply this, right? So Jeffrey Simmons, who's their best player on defense, captain, Pro Bowler, great player, said after the game that the practice this week was not good. There was no energy. There wasn't focus. And that's just such an indictment on the entire organization, an indictment on the head coach to not get his guys ready to practice. And of course, it's an indictment on the players too, Gabe, right? But like, you win that game against Arizona in a fluke fashion, and you come out to practice and you're flat, and you're not into practice. You're not into getting ready to play a bad Raiders team. Just red flags everywhere. I mean, that had to be the final straw. And then we're competitive again this weekend. You know, it's not good right now. Might as well cut bait. I don't like Mike McCoy being that. Mike McCoy has not been a good head coach. Like maybe there's someone on the staff that you trust a little bit, but they also, I think, got rid of, like, his dad got fired. And so it's a bad spot to be in right now. And look, they're gonna have to hire someone next year whose job it is to get Cam Ward ready. I mean, Brian Callahan finished with 4 wins in 22 games. I mean, he was a good coach. So this is gonna happen. It was inevitable.
Yeah, well, okay. But from the quarterback side, aren't we just, like, if you own the team, if you run the team.
You should match a quarterback and head coach up. You absolutely should.
Right? And that's the coach's dream job is I want to go, if I'm going to go to a struggling team, I want to go to a struggling team where I get to be the guy who picks the quarterback, and now his career and mine are linked. That's the template, right?
Correct. And so they let these coaches stay 1 more year, especially off, like, the thing about Tennessee last year is they were terrible. They didn't look much better at any point last year. So, like, again, like, thinking that that they would just get better with Brian Callahan, another year. You're right. They should have got rid of Brian Callahan and hired a new coach and moved on from there.
Well, I know at least one guy in the Nashville area felt this way. Hank found an interesting tweet, which who the hell knows if this is real, but I don't want to fact check it. So this is a text exchange between apparently a potential season ticket holder and the season ticket holding office for the Titans. If you can read that out loud, Geoff, for us, maybe you be the green guy and I'll be in black.
Okay, so the green guy is the person who is receiving the text from the ticket office.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have this number saved in my phone, so I'm not sure who this is.
It's Dan from the new stadium team. You told me, quote, I'm in if Brian Callahan is fired back in December. Your response.
September. Yeah. So this timestamp. So I know, Gabe. It's tough. You didn't go to USC though. You're unfortunately part of USC. But that says 9/23/25. So that would be September. 3:08 p.m. is when he said that. And the guy responded, "Ha ha ha." So I guess he owes himself to buy tickets for the new stadium.
I think you're really needlessly critiquing my acting. What I was trying to help was save time and clarity. And the point is, the season ticket office is saying, good news, we fired our coach. Now you must want season tickets.
They actually should do that. I mean, they have to. The new stadium is going to look nice though. But another team going to turf, man. Don't like it. These new stadiums are super fancy looking.
Should we? It's always fun to do a little coaching roulette here. There's one name you're not allowed to say. Who is the next coach of the Tennessee Titans? Don't say that one name.
Oh, that guy's not coaching anywhere next season. Don't worry. I don't know, man. That's not I'm go to the Athletic and look at the 10 names they put up for I have no idea.
Nice plug. Okay, we'll do that. The name I didn't want you to say was Matt Rule, the guy with the greatest PR team in history.
I thought you wanted Bill Belichick. That was the other one you didn't want to talk about.
Okay, well, we'll talk about both those guys on the other side of the break.
Yeah. Video viewers, don't go anywhere. If you're listening, we'll be right back. All right, Gabe, we're back. We're gonna do some quick hitters, and we'll get into college football. Are we doing the one sentence to these? Is that what we're doing?
And I'm gonna go a little out of order now because we just brought it up. Bill Belichick, give me a sentence on that or a word.
I mean, are we that surprised? Are we that surprised? When he was hired, we talked about this. Like, he wasn't good at getting players in New England. Why would he be good at getting players in North Carolina? There was a quote that came out of an article last week that said they have no pro players on their roster. I mean, hard to win any games without any pro players, let alone a ACC schedule. Part of the article also mentioned that there are Power 5 coaches wondering why, I guess Power 4 coaches, group of 5 coaches, group of 5 coaches that were in competition with North Carolina for players in the portal. And one of the group of 5 coaches said, we don't ever compete against teams like Carolina for players. They're normally out of our league, right? And so Carolina just not having good players, man. I'm not that surprised, Gabe, in hindsight, looking at this. They just don't, their players are not very good.
All right. I think there'll be more on that, but we'll come back to it when there is more, because I feel like the Belichick era is going to be documented. It won't be documented on Hulu, but it'll be documented somewhere.
Oh yeah, the thing about that too is there is actual footage somewhere of this entire season, Gabe. Mm-hmm. That it's somewhere. It's like someone has it. Yeah,
makes you wonder. Okay, Baker Mayfield. Why is this guy not the MVP favorite? What are we doing?
Oh, it's Mahomes. Well, I think people just don't really know if that'll last all season. I think we know Mahomes is going to be good all season.
Okay, but whatever. If Mahomes, we talked about this. That's the LeBron thing. If Mahomes wins 11 games and has a pretty good bunch of stats, they're giving it to Baker. They're not going to allow Mahomes to have an MVP unless he has an exceptionally good season, which probably he can't surpass Josh. So it's Baker. It's default to Baker.
Baker's incredible. I think he deserves all the credit. The one thing we're not going to do, by the way, with Baker Mayfield is revisionist history and be like, the Browns should have let him go. He wasn't as good in Cleveland as he is now. Like that. Well, why are we having this discussion? He's better in Tampa. He's matured. He said he's matured. He has a better offense around him. He has better offensive line, better weapons. He got out of Cleveland, the place that drafted him and made him the savior. Like he's much better now because he needs to be here to be good. This idea that like the Browns, oh my God, the Browns should have let him go. He wasn't very good with Cleveland. He's much better now. Why is this so hard to understand?
It's not hard for me to understand. And I just like, speaking of revisionist history, our producer, Hank, who does, for the most part, a lovely job, a few weeks ago argued with me that Baker Mayfield is the least talented player on his own offense. And therefore, we are taking him too seriously if we call him an MVP. I actually thought that was an interesting point since he has a great line and he had 3 great receiving weapons and he had a couple good running backs. Well, now they're all hurt. They're literally all hurt. A guy who I outweigh by 20 pounds looked like the offensive rookie of the year in Tez Johnson. He's doing this with nobodies. It's Baker. The answer is Baker.
Did you see Tez Johnson? He scored the touchdown, and they were chanting MVP, and he thought they were chanting for him, which was just an incredible wide receiver thing to think. Like, no, it couldn't be about my quarterback. It's me. My first touchdown catch as a rookie. I think it was the first touchdown catch as a rookie. I'm the one they're chanting for.
You got to have that kind of confidence as a receiver. But, I mean, seriously, we try to give people smart picks. Are you not willing to just put a little on him as he's the third odds? Like, come on.
Well, I mean, I think it's too late now, but at some point, possibly worth it. Remember, the MVP is often the quarterback of the team with the best record in football. So if you think Tampa Bay's got the best record in football, then certainly worth a play.
But Jeff, I got to punch hole in that logic. Just because you missed the Apple IPO doesn't mean you never buy Apple stock again.
No, right. But I understand. The thing is, like, they play Detroit this weekend, okay? They are, according to DraftKings right now, they play Monday night. Doubleheader again, so dumb. They're 4.5-point underdogs, okay? If they lose that game, this number goes back out to what? 8-1, 9-1? Like, this thing about these markets, you can wait on these markets. You can find yourself better numbers all season long. Baker Mayfield is the hottest he's going to be at the current moment. He's 3.5-1 right now. The next closest is Stafford at 16-1. He loses this game, he goes back to 7 or 8-1. Like, you can, if you think they're going to win, then great, grab Mayfield now. I just think you can get a much better number at any point this, like, even Josh Allen, he's 3-1 right now. You're probably not going to get a better Josh Allen number most of the season. I don't think Buffalo's going to stink the rest of the season. Mayfield, if they lose this weekend, you're going to get a better number on Monday morning, or it gets to be Tuesday morning.
Wow. You know what, Jeff? I was trying to bait you. That was brilliant. Brilliant response to what I said.
Let's revisit this next Monday morning, next Tuesday morning, and see what his MVP odds are.
Okay, Hank, get ready for the side-by-side there. Here's a story. Maybe there's nothing here. It struck me as very odd that Mike Tomlin of all people, is going public and basically just complaining about how, 2 other teams in his division are handling their business. He thought it was weird that the Browns would trade Joe Flacco, a guy they considered their week 1 starter, to the Bengals to help them out. Yeah. He didn't like that. What is he? What are we thinking about here?
They're playing the Bengals on Thursday. He probably was looking counting that as like an easy win, and now Flacco makes him a little bit better.
What, that's a hard win now? Come on.
Well, the thing about Flacco is he can't move at all, but he can throw the ball to the wide receivers who can move. He can do that well, and he did that well against the Packers. It probably just makes his job a little bit tougher on Thursday. It's odd. It is odd, right, to make this comment, but very clearly they just didn't think Flacco was good enough or worthy of playing anymore in Cleveland. They tried Dylan Gabriel. He threw the ball like 50 times. They sucked against Steelers. Now the Steelers get Cleveland on the Bengals on a short week. The Bengals plus 5.5 might make our picks this week between Matt and I. I mean, we can't lose any worse than we went this week, so hopefully we can get a win here.
Okay. I'm actually kind of amazed at how many wins the Steelers have this year and how little we on this show and most of the other shows that I pay attention to, how little we've talked about Aaron Rodgers. He's fun to talk about in moments of failure. He's actually just doing an okay job and nobody's talking about him.
I mean, I think I've said this from the start, like, I thought he'd be fine. I thought people were a little too hard on his play because they didn't like him and the Jets were not very good. He's been fine. I don't know. I mean, that's what it is. I don't think anything more or less than that, Gabe.
Okay. Fine. That wasn't very interesting, so I'm going to force us to something less interesting. DVOA insists that the Seahawks are contenders.
Yeah, I know.
One word. Stick to it. One word, please.
That's my word.
There you go. Perfect. That's my word as well.
I like DVOA. But you can see here, even this chart, like not a lot of even getting to Super Bowls. Two teams on this list got to Super Bowls. And one of them was Tom Brady in 2020. Another one was Big Ben's first year. What, the 05 was his second year. A lot of teams ain't even getting out. A lot of these teams, by the way, lost in the divisional round. Their first playoff game, they lost. So I don't. Or second playoff game, I should say. When they finally played a tougher team, they lost. So I don't know, man. I don't put much into it.
Good, me neither. I was already too much time on that. Here's some more fun for the fantasy guys out there. 3 top tier receivers, guys who are putting up major numbers. I want you to start, bench, and cut them. Puka, JSN,
I don't care about
Amon-Ra.
fantasy.
Well, just talk football then. Don't worry about fantasy. They're just relevant to fantasy players.
I was I'm on this fantasy league. I don't pay attention to it. But I was looking at like my yesterday, my like, or Sunday night, my result from this week. And I realized I'm like, oh, I still have Jordan Mason left to play, not realizing the Vikings were on a bye. That's how much I started one guy on a bye. Is what it is. I won though. I had a good week. You know what I did? I will tell you. Um, I got Rico Dowdle like at the end of the draft. Smart play by me. Just FYI, that was my best move I made all year.
Oh yeah,
was Rico Dowdle.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Then we're gonna skip is Saquon just bad now because the answer is kind of seemingly yes. What's up with the Panthers' offensive line?
And they're missing 2 guys too.
Well, yeah. So what? Look, Hank threw up these pictures. These are the all 22 angle of their line, just absolutely clearing out space, no matter who runs for them.
They're doing a great job. They're freaking mauling, dude. They're doing a fantastic job.
Who's the offensive line coach in Carolina? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but can we get that guy some love?
I don't know. Okay,
I thought you were going to be like, oh well, I coach Little League with him. He lives down the street. I used to play with him.
It's funny. It's funny you mention that. We had a friend who was like, I want your son to meet Dave Canales' son. He's 1 grade ahead of yours, and at the school we're at. And I was like, okay. I mean, sure. I guess I'll be friendly with the Panthers coaching staff. Who's the offensive line
Joe
coach?
Gilbert, according to Hank. I don't know who that is.
He looks like, if you want to show you a lineup of coaches for the Panthers, you could pick the offensive line coach out here. Joe Gilbert looks like an offensive line coach.
You know that guy?
I don't know him, but he looks like an offensive line coach.
Okay. All right, great. I mean,
he was in he was in Tampa Bay the last 5 years. Tampa Bay's offensive line is really good. So yeah, good for Joe.
You know what? I say I want Joe Gilbert, and consider every time you bring up Matt Rule's name, national media, I want you to add Joe Gilbert to the list.
This is why I just don't coach. I'd be a good coach, by the way. Like, you just every 2 years, I'm looking at his coaching career. You're just at a new place every 2 years. I just couldn't do it for my family.
Okay, but if you're Matt Rule, that equals many millions of dollars more, no matter what your record was. You just keep getting more.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to get right to college football, because we've teased too much college football now to continue to do the NFL thing. Gabe, how about that? I'm making an executive decision.
I'm fine.
We're going to college football. We'll be back in a second. Okay. We're back now.
Yeah.
Where would you like to start in college football? You've mentioned Bill Belichick. You mentioned Matt Rule. We've talked a little bit about Oregon. Would you like me to go Oregon first?
I think you need a minute. Let's ease into Oregon.
I could do Oregon first. Doesn't matter.
You're okay? You feel okay talking about this?
Yeah. Dude, I tell you what, Indiana's defensive staff did a hell of a job, man. Dante Moore had no idea what was happening out there. His head was spinning a little bit. There's this thing called simulated pressures. And so it basically means looks like the pressure's coming from one side, this side, let's say, and it comes from the right, the other side. And they only rush 4 or 5 guys. So it looks like they're going to rush 7 and maybe come from the left, but they drop guys out and they bring guys from the right and they only rush 4 guys. And then you end up having a running back on a linebacker when 5 offensive linemen are blocking 3 defensive linemen. That, it makes sense, Gabe? Like, that's the way you try to match up if you're on defense. And they just fooled the shit out of Oregon. Dante Moore wasn't comfortable the entire game. The offensive line was fine. There were 6 sacks that Oregon allowed, and 2 were on the offensive line. The others were Dante Moore running backs. There were plenty of clean pockets to throw from. The running backs average over 5 yards a carry. Our starting, or not a starter, but the guy got the most carries, averaged 7 yards a carry. I mean, we were fine up front. It's weird on defensively too. If I had told you before the game, Gabe, Indiana, I think was number 1 in the country in offense, number 2, something like that, that Oregon, take out the final drive where Indiana took 3 knees. Oregon allowed 340 yards. All right. Indiana was 5 for 12 on third down. You'd be like, oh, okay, good job. That's a good game for the defense. I think defense was fine.
Yep.
Indiana's running backs averaged under 4 yards a carry. Couldn't stop Mendoza. But here's the credit I want to give to Indiana. I want to make sure I end with Indiana here. They are just so well coached, Gabe. and they execute what they do at such a high level. Their offense is not complicated. It is RPO inside zone, a couple shots a game, and throws outside the numbers. That's it. But Mendoza makes a perfect throw every time. So whether it's a comeback, whether it's a back shoulder fade, whether it's an out, it's every time. The couple times he was pressured, it wasn't very good. He threw a pick six when he was pressured. Like, but when everything is good, man, dude is good, legit. And on defense again, they don't do a ton. They play the most zone coverage in all of college football. Just basic zone coverage, man. But they do it well. Their linebackers are great. They tackle very well. They're physical. Look, we lost. I was surprised anyone that we lost that game. Indiana is a real title contender.
Well, they are a real title contender now because they have, a couple big wins, but they also don't play anyone the rest of the way, right? Like just sort of
Yeah, they're going to
fluky.
finish. They're going to finish 12-0 probably. Yeah, until they play Ohio State in Indy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Ohio State also doesn't really play anyone, and Miami sure as shit doesn't play
Well,
anyone. So,
they don't play anyone now because of the James Franklin Penn State situation, which Penn State's 3-3 now, and they're just destroyed, and James Franklin's out. So Penn State lost two straight games, be back-to-back weeks as 20-point plus favorites, first time in 30 years since they've been keeping these stats, whatever. It was atrocious games. Drew Aller gets hurt, the quarterback, and Penn State fires James Franklin. And I understand why, okay? I understand why. So the why obviously is the season's lost. You put all your eggs in the basket of this season, right? This season was a championship type season. You can't win the big game. And now the games he's always won were the other games. You're not winning those either, okay? And let's just rip the Band-Aid off now, get him out of the building, and now we can start the process of raising money to pay the buyout, raising money to pay the new coach, and start back channeling for a new coach. But also this hopefully gets the recruits that are leaving and decommitting to maybe stay. And hey, man, like just wait till we hire a new coach. All those things are reasons why. I'm just surprised, Gabe, they did it now because you would think a guy like James Franklin, who we've heard nothing about the locker room being an issue, we had no transgressions, nothing personal off the field,
yeah.
no recruiting violations. Like just seems like a really good person.
Yep.
That you would not let him at least try to figure out the rest of the season. And maybe they go on a run to end the season. They finish 7-3 and they upset Indiana, and you end up getting a much, or you'll be more 7-4 because they lose Ohio State. Like it's still all possible, right? Even with a backup quarterback. And they just said, no, we're done now. And I'll just give you a warning, okay, Penn State fans. When you fire a coach, Gabe, what's the number one thing you try to do when you fire a coach?
It seems like a pop quiz I don't have the answer to. What's the number one thing?
Hire someone who's better.
Oh, right.
Hire someone who's better. Yeah, very simple. Name me the coaches right now that are better than James Franklin.
Matt Rule.
Matt Rule is the number one guy up for this job. He went to Penn State. He's friends with the athletic director.
I was kidding.
But also too, he also can't win the big game. Like he's lost like 18 straight games against ranked teams. So the same issue you had with James Franklin, you have with Matt Rule. And the thing about it, Gabe, is that this is common. It's hard to win big games.
Yes.
Not a lot of coaches win a bunch of games against ranked teams. It's hard to do. It's hard to be consistent. These are 18, 22-year-olds. You're going to have bad games, right? Like, is Dan Lanning a bad coach now because they lost their first regular season game in 2 years? No, you lose games. It's part of sports, part of college football. Last year, one undefeated team in the regular season. It was my Ducks. It didn't fucking matter. It didn't matter in the end, right? So you're going to lose games. It's going to happen. Who's better than James Franklin? I know that I'm going to steal this from, I forget who said this, but it's certainly true. So Mark Richt was at Georgia. He was doing well. They fired him, hired Kirby Smart, won a championship, I think 6 years later.
Yeah.
Penn State's hoping to do that here. They fire James Franklin, hire a coach, upgrade everything by a little bit, by enough to win a championship. The question is who that is. Look, Kirk Cheney's not taking that job, so cross him off the list. Is Matt Rule the guy? I don't know. The other guys on the list, Matt Campbell, Ryan Silverfield. I mean, I love Ryan. I hope he gets a job somewhere. But are those like Penn State guys that win championships there? I don't know, man. I just hope Penn State fans are okay with accepting what's going to happen next, which is more likely than not a slide back. I think it's unlikely they get better, Gabe, after this.
Okay. I'm sorry. This is obviously my obsession. but why do some coaches always have their name in the rumor mill and are never just in the place where they're meant to be? There are always these guys who come up nonstop as, oh, well, that guy, one time he had a layover in that city, so that's an obvious fit. Like, what? Why do we do this? Why is Matt Rule always the first name mentioned?
Gabe, come on, Gabe. You know how this works.
I want you to explain it, because I don't. Who cares what I think? You tell the people.
You know more of these people than I do. You know more of the agents than I do. You know how this works. You know how this. You have more. You have more agent friends than I do. This is how it works, right? The agent puts the name out there, and then all of a sudden, the Nebraska boosters, hey, Matt Rule, here's $12 million a year. You want to stay? Here you go, man. Like that's how this works, right? You know this. Come on, don't be naive. You know how this works.
Okay, but let's say Matt Rule has done a better job in Nebraska than the previous guy. All right, he got Raiola there. He's won some games. In 2 weeks, when USC beats them, and they're looking at a 3 or 4 loss team, is he still the obvious choice to go to Penn State because he went there? He texts with the AD. Like, why? Lots of people went to Penn State.
Yeah, that reminds me too. Is Nebraska USC next weekend, or is there a bye between the games?
I don't.
Oh no, they play Northwestern. I like the Minnesota cover against Nebraska this weekend. If they played USC the weekend afterwards, I'd love it even more. But it's not a look at spot, unfortunately. But nonetheless, Gabe, look, the truth is, there's just not a lot of coaches that are actually available for this job, right? Like Nick Saban's not taking this job. Urban Meyer's not taking this job. Kirksey's not taking this job, right? Like you're not getting Dabo. You're not getting Dan Lanning. You're not getting Kalen DeBoer, Kirby Smart. You're not getting these guys, right? So the next guys up on the list are the Matt Campbells, the Matt Rules. Like it's just that's the truth of the matter. You're just not getting those coaches you think you're getting, and so the list becomes what they are. I mean, you go young and find someone who's in a lower school and kicking ass, certainly, but will the boosters want that? That's part of this as well. Like the rumor is that the Pagula family, the Bills ownership group, I think they're the big money people for Penn State. And so you have to figure out and talk to them about what they want also, probably, right? I mean, they shouldn't, to me, they shouldn't be in that discussion. The booster should not matter at all until maybe the end. It's like an okay, shake the hands and make happy. But you have to make sure they're okay with the hire as well.
Yeah. Okay. I just think too much emphasis is put on like this random, Kevin Bacon game nonsense. Like I've been to Happy Valley. Like who cares if I played there, if I had a friend there, if my
coach. You want the coaching job?
I could lose you 3 games. I mean, that's not hard. I could do that.
You can. I give you that.
I think that these stories are absurd. And this is one now that we should probably just save time on. But like, however the hell Bill Belichick got himself to North Carolina, the same thing is probably going to undo him, right? Like, clearly the narrative has shifted for Coach Belichick in North Carolina. Nothing is going the way they want. You teased it earlier. Like, and now it'll be many years, I assume, before they can get to where they almost were with Mac Brown. They had NFL caliber quarterback year after year after year in UNC. They were competing in the ACC. And now I feel like if it doesn't work with Belichick, and it certainly doesn't appear to be, they just fall all the way back down to the bottom again.
James Franklin in North Carolina.
Sure. Why not?
It feels like there's just no chance to make this. He's back next season, right? I think there's just no way at this point.
Belichick? No, I can't see him.
No. Who wrote this in the rundown? The what will happen next? Is this you, or this is your work, or this is Hank's work?
I think you know the answer to that.
Immediate 25-page tell-all damning the entire operation. That's coming out. I agree with that. Okay. Publicatory victory. I don't think Publicatory will take that big of a victory lap. I don't think he would. Belichick signed, the story drops in August. Spoiler, it's all Lombardi's fault. Okay. I think Nick Hank's doing a good job here. Steve Belichick launches Barstool Pod. I don't think that's gonna happen. Um, Jordan Hudson book deal announced. Yes, certainly. And publicatory victory. I think all of this, the publicatory victory lap, he will do a little one, but not a big victory lap. All the other stuff, I think it feels very, very true, Gabe.
Well, the only thing from that list you just read off that surprises me is if you like, I'm surprised to hear Steve Belichick does not currently have a Barstool podcast. I would have just assumed he had one of those.
I don't keep up with Barstool podcasts, even though I guess Rosillo's there now. I might listen to a second Barstool podcast.
Oh, okay, there you go. Rosillo is always paying attention to your thoughts on O linemen. Hey,
he is. Yes.
Arch
Have
Manning
me on the podcast. Let's talk about it.
Arch Manning beat his rival. Mateer played. He wasn't healthy necessarily, but he played. I was ready to make fun of Hank, but look, big win for them. Texas is alive.
No one listens to the show here. Let's talk about Texas.
Hank's dad listens.
That is very true. Congratulations to Texas. John Mateer should not have played. That was dumb. Oklahoma, dude, their schedule is freaking brutal. They might end up with 3-4 losses this season. Oh. And then Brett Venables, I don't know if he survives that.
Matt Rule, get Matt Rule to Oklahoma.
You could do that.
He likes country music. Country musicians come from there. Zach Bryan, Oklahoma. Matt Rule, get Matt Rule the coaching job in Oklahoma. That's how it works, Jeff.
How do you feel about this quickly? So there was a story that the Big Ten was looking at, private equity, right? And actually from the UC pension fund, which is UC's, aren't they broke anyways? Or do they have enough money to give to the Big Ten? Nonetheless, but the story is out right now, according to Yahoo, that Michigan and USC this weekend basically got together and decided they don't want to do this. And they might be the two schools that vote no and end this thing immediately. How about that?
How about you detail what this thing is a little bit more for people? Because I saw this and thought I am not smart enough to explain.
Well, so basically it's an arms race for money, right? Money to pay players, money for facilities, money for coaches. And part of that is this house settlement, right? There was a settlement based off of basically saying, hey, for so many years, we didn't make any money. We sued. There was a settlement. And part of the settlement was that $20 million per year goes from the athletic department or from the school to the players. So they're actually paying the players now. Well, Gabe, you know this. We all know this. A lot of athletic departments don't make money. Yeah. And to add $20 million on top of that, you have to give to student athletes. Yeah. Where's this coming from? So there's an idea that private equity is a way to get some of that money. And so the Big Ten has been rumored to work toward a $2.4 billion private equity deal. And the funder of that, as of right now, is the University of California Pension System Investment Fund called UC Investments. I thought they're always broke. Like UCLA has no money, Cal has no money. All of a sudden, the pension system just has. I know it's not the same thing as funding the schools, but all of a sudden they have $2.4 billion to give to Big Ten schools. Here's this right here. The fund would infuse $2.4 billion upfront uneven payments to the Big Ten's 18 schools. The league would secure a 10-year extension of the grant of rights, establish a business subsidiary, Big Ten Enterprises, and establish a new uneven distribution of conference revenue. So basically saying that Ohio State, Michigan, and probably USC would get more money than anyone else. Or I guess I don't. Those are probably the three schools I would guess probably would get more than anyone else. But it says here that USC Board of Trustees and Michigan's Board of Regents are not into it. So maybe that will stop this process. Look, as we know, private equity money always makes things better, always makes businesses better, Gabe. So I'm sure this will good. I will say though, private equity wants to fund our podcast. We will be better. So please, I make a plea. You can fund my podcast. That's fine. But I don't know if college sports.
Vampire squids, come our way. Wherever you get your money from, give it a fancy name and then put it in our pockets and we'll do your bidding.
We will take it. We will take the UC investments. I won't make fun of the UC budgeting anymore. I don't know. I don't watch college football on Saturdays. I think to myself, man, I'm glad venture capitalist firms are involved in college football this weekend.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you explained it a little bit better. To me, it runs so counter to what's fun about college football to have this type of discussion that I didn't even want to bring it up. So the fact is USC is now actually a contender. Michigan drops.
So they lose this weekend.
No, at Notre Dame, that's not an easy game. If they come through it, I texted you this. I want you to answer on the air.
They're a playoff team probably.
If they get through the Notre Dame win, they're a top 15 team, and they look like a playoff team. Now they still have some tests.
The question becomes like, this is going to be a really jumbled year where you have Ohio State, Indiana, and then you could potentially have Nebraska could be 11-1 if they beat USC. Potential, right? They could. Are they in with like no good wins essentially? Maybe USC is their good win. USC could be 11-1 or 10-2 with a loss to, let's say, Oregon or Notre Dame. Are they in? Oregon could be 10-2 with maybe no quality wins, or they beat USC, lose to Washington. Like, it's going to be interesting to see who the third or fourth Big Ten team is.
Yeah. So last minute of the show, then it actually feels like in this, we just got this balance. In the last couple of years, it seems like, wow, there's a real counterweight to the SEC. The SEC added all these great programs. The Big Ten then added theirs. And it looked like they were neck and neck. And now, to me, man, at least at this point in the season, almost halfway, boy, the SEC looks better.
Yeah, I mean, they do. But it's kind of silly because, like, so right now, Illinois, Washington, and Michigan, I think, are like ranked 26, 27, 28 in the poll. They could be in top 25 tomorrow. And we just have to not look at the polls, I think, like that every week and make our decision. But I think the top of the SEC certainly feels stronger because Penn State is not as good right now.
That's what I'm getting at. You're right. Missouri and Michigan play each other. I don't know who wins that game. It just looks like Missouri is maybe a little better. But Bama is like the third or fourth best team in the conference, and they're fucking good, man.
And I actually think that like A&M's undefeated, but Bama is talk about it. They're the fourth. I mean, title contenders, right? Ohio State, Indiana, Miami, Bama, dude. Bama should be up there.
Right there. Okay, yeah. Well, maybe we put a few bucks there. If you're not willing to give me Baker MVP right now, maybe we wait till Bama, gets to the right place, and then we put a little on that.
It's a great college football weekend. I think we have like five first ranked games this weekend, including, I think it's Bama. Is it Bama, Tennessee this weekend? I think it is.
They have nothing but tough games.
Old Miss, Georgia this weekend. Alabama, Tennessee this weekend. USC, Notre Dame, first ranked. The Holy War, Utah, BYU, nasty rivalry. 8 p.m. My wife will be out of town this weekend too, so it's gonna be me and football all weekend. I hate it so much, Gabe. When she goes to the beach, I get to watch football by myself all weekend.
Oh, sounds miserable, Jeff.
It's really bad. It's really a bummer.
I got one complaint, and then we can say goodbye. If you're gonna have a doubleheader on Monday night, which normally I would say cool. I don't know why you don't like it. I'd say cool. Give me a choice. Don't do it when we have a doubleheader, of baseball. What are we doing? What am I supposed to watch? Even YouTube TV can't figure that out. I can't get a quad box of that. So
the YouTube TV thing, they don't let you quad box like NBC, Fox, CBS, and like ESPN together. Like you can quad box like some of those together, but they don't let you put like FS1 with ESPN with ABC, which you needed last night, and TBS. Like, they don't let you do all four of those at the same time. It's kind of frustrating.
It was very obvious what we should have been allowed to watch last night. And instead, we had to treat it like it was, the 90s again and make choices and switch back and forth. So I was watching a ridiculous Dodgers game instead of Caleb. And we're being cut off because nobody cares about our complaints, Jeff. So let's say goodbye.
See you guys on Thursday. Bye, everybody.